sometimes in your life there's a day that stands out among all the days. But nothing really other than that.
They won't be seeing you. They'll only be hearing you. Did you want to tell them how fabulous you are?
Hadn't occurred to me.
Well, go ahead. This is your time.
Damn, I am so fabulous. If you can see me,
So like when they hear you, they'll probably be like, gosh, she sounds fabulous. And that they should just know that you are.
He does.
Hello, and welcome to Prompt, a podcast for people who love stories. My name is Amy B., and I'm a writer and one of the co-creators of In a Nutshell, a monthly storytelling show in Sacramento, California. My co-creators are the world-class comedian Keith Lowell Jensen and the ska defender music journalist Aaron Carnes. We get to hear all kinds of great stories, and we want you to hear them too. So every episode, we'll play you a true personal story told at one of our shows, and then we'll talk to the storyteller to not only find out more about the person behind the story, but also discover why they tell the stories they tell.
All right, this is Aaron Carnes, In a Nutshell co-creator, and today we will be listening to a really amazing story by the one and only Diane Amos, who you may know from her many, many years as the Pine Sol Lady. She was on many a commercial and represented the company since the early 90s and continues to this day. She told a story that I don't even know if I could properly explain, because really it's about just a weird, bizarre, magical day that she experienced. And she relays the story in a way that both is so casual, but is so nuanced. This is one of my favorite stories that I've ever seen at In a Nutshell, and I look forward to hearing what you think of it. And then after the story, we're going to listen to our interview with her. And for this episode, we're going to let you hear the entire interview. Normally, the second half would be behind a paywall, only available to Substack paid subscribers. But this episode, as well as our last two episodes, were left over from 2025, and we are in the process of retooling and relaunching the podcast, which will begin at our next episode. We're changing the name, and we are looking forward to a full year of In a Nutshell shows and this podcast as well. Please enjoy.
Hey, everybody. Hey. Yeah, I booked this while I was in rehab. I was like, this is so painful. I measure everything by childbirth. Well, neck surgery kicked childbirth's ass. So, I had some things to learn. And I'm really happy to be here. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to tell you a story about one day in my life that was so amazing. And it was one of those days when you wake up, you go, wow, that saying, what a day. Well, this is what a day. And I'm going to start by telling you about two of my very dear friends. Am I close enough to the mic? Can you hear me? Yeah. So, this one woman that I met, who I was in my 20s, her name was Deborah. And she came to a show of mine, and then she came up to me afterwards, and we started talking, and we just had this instant connect, this instant friendship. I think we were like two, I don't know, just black women who had a lot of confidence and, knew we were doing stuff and out there ready to face the world with anything. And she was like pretty gorgeous in a very natural, just like she was like the shade of coffee when you put just enough milk in it, it starts to change, that kind of mocha chocolate, right? Just beautiful. And she had this body that was just kind of lean and mean little waist, and that black girl butt, you know what I'm talking about. The ones that people are getting injections for and wearing little fake shit for. She had that ass. And she was just, healthy and athletic, and we just really vibed. Now, I have always been a big girl. I was not one of those women, I was a size 6 and then I had children, I got big. No. I've been around since I was 6 years old. Okay, so I've always had a big girl body, and I was very athletic as a kid. I was that big fat kid who was out there team captain for volleyball, kickball, foursquare, tetherball, whatever, right? I was out there moving my butt. Back in the day, you know, I was the kind of fat kid that got on my bike and I came home when the street lights, you know, came on. So I've always been in my body and pretty happy with it. So she and I, when we went out in our 20s, we were a smorgasbord of black girl. Whatever kind you like, we kind of covered that, right? And we just loved going out with each other, dancing and just having a good time. And the men followed her. It was amazing. She would attract seriously professional football players. So like, how does she do that? Like, I mean, and like real ones, not even fake dudes. I would come out of my room and there would be 3 men sitting in my living room. Oh my God. Right? Biggest, finest men you ever want to see. And they would give us tickets to their games at Candlestick Park. And I'm talking like right behind, you know, where they're sitting and everything. And we didn't even care about the football. We would be getting cute and everything, and we would come in late, and people would be like, wow, right? We had a great time as young women. And she decided a few things. She took a Vidal Sassoon class and asked me to be her hair model because I had some hella hair. Because my mom did not let me straighten my hair as a kid. She's like, we are not straightening our hair. White people say our hair is straight. It's not. It's nappy. We're not doing that. So I always had goo gobs of hair. All my friends with perms, their shit was falling out. Mine was like, my natural was Angela Davis. I was like, right? So she said, your hair is great. Can I use yours as a model? I said, sure. So, you know, she's going to class and every other week. I would walk out of my house and my neighbors would be like, whoa, right? It's some fabulous hairdo I would have. And so we just vibed great. And then she decided she wanted to be a cop because she didn't like the way black people were treated by cops. And there was one way to get in there and change that shit. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. So she went into the police academy. And as her roommate then, we moved into a great place in San Francisco in Glen Park. And she would come home from hard days. And, you know, I'd run a bath for her and she would be so sore. And she would tell me all the stuff they did. And, you know, at one point they had hit each other with the sticks so they understood what they were doing when they hit people. And she was just sore. And I mean, I watched her go through this and I was like, why? But she was genuine about wanting to change things. Well, to make a long story short, blah, 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 she, if you believe that, she ended up being the first black woman undercover cop on San Francisco Muni buses. Yes, she did. And this is back when the crimes on Muni were not, you know, they weren't meth-filled crimes that people stabbed. They were crimes of stealing purses and, you know, taking people's groceries and knocking people down. And it was still disrespect, believe me. But she was on there, and no one ever looked at her and suspected that she was a cop. You talk about undercover, she was for real undercover. Well, she starts busting people, and she's starting to get a rep. And this one Saturday afternoon, we were on our way to like some festival, you know, and we got on our little dresses, big dress, she got her little dress, and we were walking down the street, and this is brother, hey baby, what's up? Like, you looking good. And this brother called, hey man, man, she a cop. He's like, come on man. No man, for real, she a real cop. And he's like, man, shut up. And she's like, come on, baby, what you got for me? And she put on her badge. She's like, oh, shit. She's a real cop, right? So she started to make her mark in the police academy, you know, the police department. And then she decided she wanted to do be a forensic person in the cop. And I was like, oh, my God, right? And I'm acting, I'm doing improv, I'm working with Robin Williams and all these amazing people, having just this fantastic you know, improv experience, just really loving my life, right? And working at a big girl's clothing shop, and my wardrobe was banging. I'm just like, yeah, right? And she is diagnosed with lupus. Yeah. And so she had to quit the force. And you would think, gee, life bum, right? She just started doing other things. She kept working out, and she dealt with all the things you have to deal with lupus, which is really a lot. And she just kind of kept on living positive and being beautiful. And she met the love of her life, she met her husband, Buzz. And he was just this terrific man. He was military based, and which is kind of good because, the discipline it takes to be a cop, they kind of vibed on that level. And he vowed to take care of my friend forever. And we had a great relationship. I was like, yeah, she's found her man. I found the love of my life in my early 30s, and we settled into, a really great marriage, and they knew each other, and it was just like a good time. Then she moved here to Sacramento. So we didn't get to see each other as much. We were always on the phone, and, she's that people that call, and, you pick up no matter what, right? And so this is my girlfriend, Deborah. And our lives together had always been wonderful. Now I want to tell you about another friend of mine that I met during my 30s when Deborah had moved up here. And this woman was named Amy, and she worked at the Other Cafe in San Francisco. And that's where my stand-up career started. I'd only been doing improv before. And so I had started a stand-up career. I was really enjoying it. She was working at the club, and she later became my manager, and things were just going good. It was pretty awesome. And then I got the Pine Sol commercials. Come on. Right? Like all those years, 1993, they're looking for a spokesperson, and, it was a time when people were willing to look for somebody real in commercials. Like, not a white woman in a gown pointing to her polished floor. She didn't mop that floor. She did, right? But me, I look like I might have mopped that floor, right? And then I might have my kids mop that floor. And so my career was just really going great, and I was on television every day and pulling down, bucks and able to buy a house in San Francisco and raise my kids. I always wanted to do that because I loved going out there. So Amy and I formed this relationship that is just so good. She's very adventurous. She's a woman who's adopted, so she's just always out there looking for stuff. I don't know what that means, but it's true. And so she's like the most adventurous person that I know, right? And exactly 15 years ago, on March 14th, which is her birthday, she turned 40. And so I said, girl, I'm going to come down. She had planned a dinner in L.A. at this restaurant called Frog Fall, and she was so excited. And I said, we'll come down. I said, let's go to the mall, the Galleria, right? And I was going to get her a couple little things. We're just going to have a girl day before we go to the dinner. So she picks me up at the Burbank Airport, best kept little secret. And, right? And she picks me up, yeah, baby. She picks up, we're in the car, we're laughing and talking. And she, I said, what are you up to? She says, well, I'm going on a vision quest. I'm like, a vision quest? What is that? Right? She says, well, it's where you find your higher power. I'm going out into the woods, and I'm going to draw a circle around myself and, spend the night there and just receive all my power. I was like, white people. I was like, girl, are you serious? She was like, yeah. I said, okay, look. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to speak at your funeral. I am. I'm going to tell them how fabulous you were, what a strong woman you were, how inspirational you were, and adventurous and all that. Because what if the bear don't know about the circle? What if the mountain lion don't give a damn that you got a circle around you? I'm like, are there any other people around? Do they have tents? What the fuck? Right? And she's like, no, there's people, but they're, you give your own space. I said, girl, you really, are you going to go out in the woods and put a circle around yourself for real? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, fuck, okay. All right. So we get to the Galleria, and we're having this great day. We're walking around, getting little stuff to, nibble on, and I see the Max makeup store. Now, my friend Amy wears no makeup whatsoever, not even lipstick. She don't give a damn about that. That is not her thing. But I got to go into the Max store because I'm looking for this color of lipstick called Ooh Baby. So I said, I got to go to the Max store. So she says, okay. So I go in, and I'm looking around. Now I'm in heaven a little bit, right? And I just didn't start wearing makeup until I was an older woman because I was raised by this lesbian feminist woman who told me, don't gild the lily. You're gorgeous. I'm like, but Mom, I'm on stage. I need makeup, right? So I'm in the makeup store, and I'm trying to look at all this different stuff. And I know I'm taking a little longer than Amy wants. So I don't see her for a minute, but that's okay. So then I'm finally at the counter to pay, and she comes up next to me, and she's leaning into me really hard. I'm like, okay, Amy, I'm paying. But that was her passing out. She hits my titty, and then she hits the hard counter, and then she's out on the floor. Eyes open. I'm like, oh my God! I'm like, I am never going to talk about anybody's funeral ever again. Right? And I'm like, people are panicking. I'm like, call 911 right now. I'm like, Amy. I am just freaking the hell out. It's her birthday. She's laying on the floor of the Mac store with her eye out. And I'm just like, so I can't believe it. So we're in a mall. So, of course, the paramedics show up really fast, right? And in walks 3 guys that go over to her, and they're, feeling they're doing whatever. And she wakes up, and she's like, what happened? I said, girl, you passed out. And in comes, I guess, the main paramedic, and he's this big, fine brother. This man is so fine, it's ridiculous. You know how paramedics, firemen, you're like, damn, right? Well, he was damn. And he comes over to her, and he looks up, he sees me, he goes, oh my God. Pass on me. And I'm like, yeah, he goes, I told my buddy that if I ever met you, I was going to ask you to marry me. I love you. And my friend Amy goes, hey, a little help here? Right? He goes, okay. So he goes and he tends to her, and I'm like, this is so weird, right? And so he's tending to her, and he finally gets her to a stable position, and everything. And now he's back home, and he's like, look, he goes, are you married? I go, I am. I'm happily married. He goes, oh, baby, I can make you so happy. And I'm like, dude, I'm happy, right? And I can't believe the level that he is on, right? He's like, but there's so many things I just want to tell you that I just believe in you, and I'm so proud of you. And I see you on TV, and I'm like just so happy that you're out there representing for everybody. I'm like, thank you, right? But my friend's on the floor, right? So they get her to a point where they're going to take her to the ambulance, and she's dehydrated. They're going to give her fluids and all this and everything. And so I'm like, yeah, bro, I thank you, I love you, but I'm out, right? So I go to the garage, and I get in her car. I'm going to meet them at the hospital, which is right across the street, basically. And so I get there way before them because it takes forever as they, work on her. We get to the hospital, and we're out in the hallway for a long time, and they finally get her a room. And they got the IV in her, and she's starting to, get some color back. And I said, do you want me to start calling people and cancel the dinner? She goes, I'm not canceling my dinner. I said, for real, Amy? Because you're in the hospital. Right? And she goes, I'm not canceling my dinner. And I was like, oh my God, that's my friend Amy. Right? Lord have mercy. So she does not cancel the dinner. She gets her little IV, and she's starting to feel better. And now we got about an hour and a half before dinner. And so we head that way. And all day long, Deborah has been calling me, right? So, but I didn't want to pick up because I'm here with my girl Amy. And if I get on the phone with Deborah, it ain't no stopping us, right? It's like, so I don't call her back. She called me in the morning, and she called me a little bit late in the afternoon. So I was like, So we get to the restaurant, and now there's about half an hour left, and people are starting to arrive. So I decided I should go out in the car and call Deborah back, just let her know I'm in LA and, what I'm doing, right? So I go to the car. I'm sitting in Amy's driver's seat, and I get my phone out, and I call Deborah back. And she's weeping, screaming, crying. I'm like, what? What happened? She said, Diane, Buzz fell asleep at the wheel and crashed, and he's dead. This happens every time I tell this story. And I was so devastated for her. And I was also devastated because I was too far away. If I was in San Francisco, I'd be in my car. I'd be up here about an hour, 15 minutes, right? But I was so far away. And so I told her, oh, my God, Deborah, I can't get to you. She was like, no, I'm Diane. So we have that conversation. And there's nothing I can do about this situation, but I'm just heartbroken because I know one thing about Buzz. He wanted to live and take care of Deborah, and he didn't get to do that. So I'm sitting there. Now I'm supposed to go back in here to this birthday party, and I'm just undone. So I pull the mirror down and I look at it, and I said, you are an actress. So you got to go in there and act like you having fun. Because this is your girl Amy's birthday. And that's why you're here. So I pull it all together. And I redo my lipstick, wipe off my mascara. I get my gift that I had gotten for Amy out of the back of the car, and I go in. And her guests are there, and she's such a fun person. People are having such great stories about her, and we're just enjoying the day, and the food is really good. And I can eat when I'm stressed, so fuck it, I'm eating, right? Yeah, for real, though. And we're having this great meal, and people are telling fabulous stories. I swear she's telling the story about falling out in the mall, and, you know, how the guy who was hitting on me, and how she didn't want to cancel dinner, and everyone was like, oh my God, Amy, right? So it's quite an evening. And at the end, we have this great cake, and we sing the song, and we do all that, right? And then I get a cab and go to my hotel. And when I get there, I call my husband and fall completely apart. I was absolutely hysterical. And he's like, baby, and I'm hysterical, right? And he goes, okay. He goes, are you okay? Yes. Is Amy okay? Yes. Did anybody die? Yes. Who died? I'm gone again, right? So it takes him literally 20 minutes, maybe a little longer, just to calm me down enough to tell him what happened. Because that whole day had just fallen on me, and I was just undone. And so he finally talks me down. I get to sleep. I just go to bed. I figure this day has got to fucking be over. You know, and the end of the day is done, on the sun, right? And so I go to sleep. And I wake up the next morning and realize what a day I had had. And it's a tribute to both of these friends, because my heart was where it should be with my friend Amy, and my heart was with my friend Deborah. And I knew that was a day I would never forget. But I was so happy for all the feelings that came to make to that day. And the soundtrack to that story is this. Hit it, Dylan. And pain is like sunshine and rain. I like sunshine and rain. That's the day I'll never forget. My friend Amy and I, we still talk about it. She tells the story too. And her story is completely different than mine. Oh yeah, and we plan to do that story together someday. And maybe it might even be here. Thank you.
The first thing I wanted to know is if there is really a lip color called Ooh Baby.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
And are you still getting that lip color?
I haven't had it in a long time, but I wore it for many years.
And is it like a purplish?
Oh,
or a
no.
pinkish,
It's I call it black girl brown.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just got this perfect tint to highlight my coloring.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that color. Ooh Baby.
Ooh Baby. That's right.
I need some
from
Ooh
Mac.
Baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Mac should sponsor you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's why you said it like 10, 15 times, right? Max. So the song you end on, Joy and Pain by Ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Maze.
Mm-hmm. Featuring
Frankie
Frankly Bentley. Right? Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
I was close. I'm really bad with names like that. I always get them slightly off. I feel like it does kind of encapsulate your story. I get a sense of what you're talking about, the joy and pain, especially when you talk about holding your two friends at the same time in your heart.
Yes.
But I was wondering if you could just put it into your own words a little more. Like, what is this story about?
For me, it was about realizing that some circumstances take you in directions that you just didn't expect you were going to go that day. It's almost like taking the wrong bus. Like, like, where am I? Right. But the fact that, Amy's doing this very white people thing of having a vision quest. I'm like, girl, what do you need to see? Right. So it was just so foreign to me.
And were you invited to that?
Heck no. She knows she don't invite me nothing like that. I'm not drawing no circle around myself. So the fact that it started out with that and that she was really going to do that. And so when as a comedian, I'm thinking, yeah, I'll speak at your funeral, and I really thought about it. I'm going to tell them all the good things. I told you not to draw no circle around yourself, right? So it came down to this very real cultural thing of not understanding that, but this is my girlfriend. That's what she's going to do. Okay. But really, when she passed out, that was the first thing that came to my head. Was like, I was joking about her funeral because she was out with her eyes open. And I was just dumbfounded, right?
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing that came. I'll never do that again, which I haven't done since. But it was a moment that was so frightening. And then when it turned out okay, I felt like, whew, but the fact that this guy was hitting on me so hard during this, and she really did reach up from the ground to like, hey, a little help. I'm like, oh my God, right? So it was a lot of different things hitting me at the same time.
Yeah.
And the fact that I had been ignoring Deborah's call all day, because she's, I pick up when she calls.
Did you feel a little something?
No, I really, because there's just days she'll call me a couple times, see if I'm available or whatever. So no, I was just waiting to talk to her. And I had that joy spark, of talking to her. So when I did get a chance to talk to her, it just burst for me because her husband really wanted to take care of her with her lupus. And, they had such a great bond. And he had that conversation with me as her best friend about how much he loved her and would always be there for her. And I knew that was a loss for just, one of those human things. So that day for me represented, a lot of joy with Amy because she is just so great and so fun and vision quest and everything. And Deborah held a part of my heart that was very special to me. Yeah. So for her to be in pain and be that far away, it was joy and pain that day, all day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That was the perfect song.
Thank you.
So good. Such a great ending.
Right at the top of the story, you talk about your confidence. And your confidence, whether you mention it or not, is such a character in your storytelling and in your stand-up. And I'm just like, I'm curious, was that a choice? Was there a time in your life where you just decided you're going to cast aside self-doubt, or you just made that way?
I really think it's a fairly smooth combination. I'm a Libra, so I like to think that things are very balanced for me, which they are. But I had a mother who really told me that I was funny, that I was pretty, that I could do anything I wanted, that I was smart. People liked me, and I believed her. The parental injunction is very strong. Nice. So I really believed her. But ever since I was 4 years old, I knew I was going to be on TV. Like, that's what I'm going to do for my life. I didn't want to be a doctor. I wasn't trying to be a nurse or a teacher or anything else at any point in my life. So it was very clear to me who I was and what I was going to be doing. So I think a lot of me was made that way, but I was certainly backed by my mom, and who also came out when I was 7. So I was raised in the gay community, which is a very uplifting community to be lifted in, to be born into, and, have that experience because you have to support each other. They were in the closet back then, and so they couldn't come out as professionals. So there was a lot of secrecy and all that, but they live lives of supporting each other in community. You make your own community as you go along. So that was really early in my lifetime. And, during the 60s and all the civil rights and things that were going on, you had to be confident or you didn't exist. And in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was born, white people didn't even talk to you. Like, you'd go in someplace and they act like you're not there. So there was a part of you that had to live with not being recognized or being accounted for in a place and still know that you're actually there. So it brought about confidence for me. And I know it doesn't for everyone, but for me, it truly did.
Did that confidence, does that play into like your kind of very super like conversational style? Like, I really felt like you were just sitting down and you were talking to me.
Well, you know what? I was, Amy, because these stories, this is the thing. Black culture, when you're sitting at the dinner table, that is your time to tell what happened in your day, what you saw on the bus, what Miss Davis did next door. This is your time. So if you don't get it in, it don't get in, right? So you got to get it in, and the whole table laughs or goes, oh, or whatever it is, right? So that is a time of checking in with your family. That's the time of you getting the stage and the little kids too. Today I fell off my scooter and my knee hurt, and everybody goes, "Oh, baby, you okay?" "Yeah, I got a Band-Aid," so it doesn't matter what your story is, you get your story in.
That's
So
awesome.
it's very natural to me to be a storyteller. And when I started doing stand-up, I wasn't a joke comic ever. I told real life stories and real things that happened.
Oh,
And it took me a long time to get work because they were like, but then when they saw how the audience reacted, it's like, you can't deny that. They're laughing.
and how old were you when you started did stand-up come before improv?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Stand-up started much later. Improv started for me in high school at 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And how did that seg into improv? And
Well, in high school, we had groups that I was in from there, natural acts. And then I went with the committee when they were ending. I performed with them for a while. And then Robin Williams came to the group that I was in for 14 years, National Theater of the Deranged.
Nice.
Longest running show in San Francisco, the improv show. And we sold out every night. And so it was, just a magic time. I was 17 when my career was just boom, banging out there. And stand-up came later when a friend of mine, Linda Hill, my best friend, talked me into doing it.
On the off chance that any bookers are listening, people love storytelling stand-up.
Yes.
I get that same thing where people are like, "Oh, I'd like to book you, but I'm waiting for a show that would be right." Any show.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's my style. So the genre has come to me is how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I've always been doing stories. I mean, it's not like I don't tell some jokes, but most of the stuff that I tell in my act is true because I didn't want to be copied. I was out on the road watching white male comedians do each other's act. I was like, that's not his piece, right? And so in order to not be copied, you can't be a Black woman who has a Black mom and a Jewish mom, and all those things didn't happen to you. That happened to me.
Just yours.
Right? So that's how I started telling truths so that I couldn't be copied. And that lends great to storytelling. So storytelling has come to me for sure.
Although I got to tell you, I think me telling the story of when I was a young Black girl with lesbian mothers would be pretty wild.
At least.
Can I just real quickly grab the opportunity to touch on what Robin Williams is like backstage, because there's this whole thing of like never meet your heroes, and I've never heard from anyone who regretted meeting Robin.
Oh my God, no. So, when I started performing with him, I was like 19, I think. And he was, what he appreciated about our show was that we did things from the news, true stories from the news, and then make them funny. Well, that's a good format for improv, right? And he likes organic. And we were doing old school improv, beginning, middle, and end, and characters, right? Which he's all about. And I'm all about characters. So him backstage, he was just ready to be in it.
Yeah.
So you grab him and you go out there, and he was very generous on stage. And he told me many times, he said, "Diane Amos, get me out of this." Because I can close the scene down. I have just something about my mind that can figure out how to bring something to an end.
So he
would go
dug a
on and
hole.
on and on. Oh no, he don't dig no hole that you're not willing to jump in, right? But he's out there and he's going, and he would go, "Diane Amos, get me out of this," right? And I think of something, and he would go, "Wow, damn, you're good," right?
Oh, that's
So
great.
he was very generous and wonderful backstage.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a question just real quick about improv. You
Sure.
said old school improv has a beginning, middle, end. I'm not sure what does that mean?
Well, there are all kinds of improv groups and stuff. Some of them are competitive, whereas no, and old school improv, I was taught by people like Jim Crana, who teach you that in order for anyone in your group to look good, you all have to make each other look good. You're only as good as your weakest link, right? So you always play smarter than you are. You always make someone else look good because then you look good too.
Right.
It's not about, tearing someone down. Plus, there's a beginning to it, and then there's a middle where, the action is good, and you got to know when to stop it. Because
Like how
improv,
long-
the problem is that improv can go on forever and it loses a boom. Once it
Totally.
falls off a cliff, you're just looking down, right?
Yeah.
So if you stop it at the right point where they're still laughing, so that's to me the difference between old school improv is you beginning,
Oh.
middle, and end. Like you have to know when the middle is and when it's rich and kicking and when to boop, get out. Because you
That-
can
I
always
mean-
call it back.
So I can see how that totally applies to storytelling too, because
Yes.
a lot of people kind of get lost in that murky
Yes.
middle.
Yeah.
They go past the cliff, they fall, they don't really know how to end it.
That's right.
Is that?
I think that's very true.
Yeah.
What I enjoy about storytelling is the fact that for the formats where the story has to be true,
Yeah.
if it's your story, really all you have to do is sit with it and get back to how it made you feel when those things happened.
Mm.
And remember, how did it end?
Yeah.
And just end it.
Well, so how do you bring yourself back into that without letting the emotion kind of overtake you to the point where you're sobbing on stage
Well, every time
uncontrollably
I
and
tell
like
that
you,
Deborah piece, and when
Yeah,
I talk to her, I tear up every time.
but you don't seem like you've lost yourself to the
No,
moment.
no. And I think as a performer and storyteller, you want to keep yourself together in front of other people, but let the emotions hit you. And I think just knowing that your responsibilities to the audience
Yeah.
should keep you intact. But I mean, if I fell apart doing something, it must be a good damn story, right?
Yeah.
But I think the fact that you want to keep the audience happy or at least keep them engaged is a good way to sit in the emotions and to get out of them too.
Yep.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Did Amy ever do the Vision Quest?
Yes.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, and she lived.
And she lived.
No bears, no
No,
mountain lions.
Did she come from it? Did she come as a changed woman after it? Or
I'll tell you something. I have women of all kinds in my circle. And there's some things I understand and some things I don't. That I don't understand. Where that power thing comes from, or needing to be alone in the woods. There's no part of me that can get next to that. But if she tells me she feels more powerful, then I believe her.
There's a part where you say, you're quoting her, which, by the way, real quick aside, you're fantastic with voices. And I love that. And that's one of the things I love about Richard Pryor, is when he would do these voices and you just feel like you're meeting the character.
Right.
But in her voice, you say, I'm going to stay in the woods all night to receive all my power.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look at the audience. And it was interesting watching it again here to like kind of count how long of a pause that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started noticing a couple other places where you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How conscious of you are you of that, of the places where you let the silence do the work? And we know your character well enough that we're kind of telling ourselves how you're reacting.
Exactly. I think that comes from learning improv. You have to learn, like when people do improv and they laugh at their own stuff, I hate that.
Okay.
Like that was definitely no when I was learning improv, right?
Mm.
So if the audience is laughing, you're not supposed to be laughing. You're supposed to be there with that, whatever that look is on your face that you have or whatever. You have to hold that while they laugh. Let them have the moment.
Right.
So I feel the same way about silence. If you know that this is a poignant piece, then let them sit with it for a second, because they will probably go to the next place or be surprised when you take them to the next place.
Mm.
So,
I hadn't thought of that.
yeah.
I thought of them going where you're going, but it also pays off if they go somewhere else.
That's right, because you never, and if they go someplace else, you might not necessarily know it, but when you take them to the place you want to be, then it's like, oh, right.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't quite understand. I'm sorry. Can you?
So,
What do you mean? Like, if you want them to go to a different place, even that's okay.
I assumed what she's thinking when she's quiet.
Oh, okay.
know?
Yeah.
And we laughed because it was funny.
Right.
You're thinking, oh, this freaking woman. And then you say,
white
this white
people.
woman shit. And
Yeah.
you confirmed it for me. But you might have been thinking, wow.
Right. See, exactly.
That's really
So if
poignant.
you're
And then
thinking,
you get the
oh,
surprise.
yeah.
and then
so
you
then
get
that's-
white people, then,
Yeah.
then it's
then
funny.
It's even funnier.
So the moments of silence, exactly. The moments of silence are good for the audience and the storyteller.
It's
I
so funny
see.
because
Yeah.
I thought of it as you taking a bigger risk than it turns out you were actually taking. It's a pretty cool, like, safe move.
Oh,
It
yeah.
pays off either way.
It
I love
does. It does.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to make friends with the silence like that.
Oh, really? No,
I mean, from
love
when
it.
I'm just from watching people on stage, it seems
Yes.
like one of the aspects that people struggle
Well,
with.
you have to make sure that it's not a silence because you don't forgot something,
Yeah.
right? So you have
In
to
there.
be in it, in that moment when you have that silence.
Yeah.
You have to either your face has to back or your body language, something. You have to let the audience know that you're in it.
I see.
that you're not lost.
Because I feel like a lot of comedians, they seem really uncomfortable with silence. They are like, they want to hear the laughter. Well, that's
different though. Yeah, because they're going for a joke.
Right. But if they're telling a story,
it's just a story. Whether you find it funny or not is not up to me.
They're still looking for laughter though.
Yes.
They're like, they're greedy for the laughter.
At home knows she's pointing at me every time she says they. But Amy has kind of watched my process of learning to be more of a storyteller and even to tell a story that isn't necessarily punchline oriented.
Right.
And there were several times where I had an emotional silence, a poignant silence, and I threw a joke in. And I didn't need to.
Yeah.
But I did because that instinct is so hardwired.
Right.
Right.
And so you were saying your stand-up is storytelling stand-up.
Well, it could be because I learned improv first.
But you also do storytelling shows.
I do.
I asked our last guest the same question, Bo. How different is Diane in a stand-up club to Diane at our show?
Pretty dang different.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes, because I find stand-up to be the part of business that you own, because you're always with someone as an actress. I have someone else's script, or I'm doing someone else's play, or so stand-up for me is the bit part of the business that I own.
Okay.
So there's my opinions, there's my take, there's my style, and that's my stand-up. Like I'm presenting myself to you. Mm-hmm. Whereas storytelling is me simply telling you a story that is true for me. Mm. And that's just a different place, because I don't care if you laugh or not.
Wow.
I'm telling you a story, and hopefully there's some laughs, maybe there's some tears. But for me, the responsibility is to tell you a true story, see how it hits you.
And was that hard for you to not care if they laughed?
No.
Is anything hard for you?
Tell us something hard for you. Damn it.
Moving fast in my old age. That's hard. Right. After hip surgery. There you go.
You said that you tell a true story.
Okay.
Mm.
And I'm going to call bullshit. I know you got that paramedic's number.
You haven't seen my husband.
Okay.
It's a double damn.
Right? He is a double damn.
All right, then.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess that's the first half.
That's the first half.
Okay.
We'll go to the next half.
All right.
That was her present that she gave her friend at the birthday party. It was that paramedic's number.
You're right.
There you are, Amy. Well, one of the things we wanted to an update on Deborah.
Deborah passed away, yes, about 3 years after Buzz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me too. It was a big loss. But she was, right till the end, she was still her positive self with lupus. And so many things happen when you have lupus. And she weathered it all.
Can I say, damn you for making me feel sympathy and even clapping for a cop? That was sneaky. That was.
I know, right? Me too, though. Really? I have roommates as a cop. Shut up. Right? Shut up. Yeah, no, I agree.
And it's complicated because it's like she did it for all the right reasons.
Yes, and she was the first Black woman undercover person on Muni.
And I joined everyone else clapping for that. And it was like, what the hell am I doing?
I know. Yeah, she was that kind of woman.
So when you did our show, right at the beginning, you talk about that you just had neck surgery and that you were in recovery. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of talk about that, expand upon that a little bit, like sort of what you were dealing with at the time of telling the story?
Oh, and I still am. It's a 6 months to a year recovery. I had a neck surgery in April that was quite extensive, and in the back, and it was for neuropathy in my hands, which is coming back. But it's 6 months to a year, and I still have places on me that are numb, and so the nerves are reconnecting, and it's painful. So I have a lot of pain that I deal with, but I just decided I'm just not gonna let it stop me. I'm one of those old ladies that does water aerobics 3 times a week, and I'm out there bobbing in the water, getting strong, and just understanding that this body will heal and that I just have to take it along for the ride.
So how long had it been? So you said
that
surgery was in April.
Oh yeah. So that was July.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I made that date, my doctor goes, "You're booking a show in July." And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, Diane Amos." He's like, I guess he had to call my name, right? Because I was like, I have to do it. Like, if there has to be some motivation, I got to have a date where I'm not supposed to be somewhere with a story. So that really helped. And you guys were definitely the
was that your first story that you told since the surgery, or did you have any
It
others?
was, although a couple weeks before that, there was a contest in San Francisco. a storytelling contest that I entered because JP Ferrari, my good friend and Bob's storyteller to you guys, told me about it. And it was a Tuesday night. I did that and I won. So then I was feeling really great about July 25th. So there you go.
So recovering from surgery will not stop you from performing.
No.
But something will. You said no to me several times. Do you remember why?
Yes. Because I was going to Giants games.
If the Giants are playing, Diane is not available.
Neck surgery, yes.
Not a problem. She'll do the surgery right there on stage. But if the Giants are playing, forget it.
Well, you have to take your joy where you get it, right? I mean, I don't drive a huge expensive car. I don't do a lot of traveling, but we will spend some money on some Giants tickets.
That's great.
Giants tickets, tennis tickets, I'm there. Yeah.
So, did you know that you're kind of an inspiration for a lot of people? Most specifically, we talked to Regina recently, and you were the reason she even started stand-up because she saw you on a cruise, a lesbian cruise,
wow,
like many, many, many years ago. And you invited her. You were doing some kind of open mic or workshop or something, and you invited her up, and that was the beginning of her doing stand-up.
Oh man, I mean, I remember our interaction way back then. But I didn't realize that it was quite that inspirational.
Yeah.
I just feel like, being raised, first of all, by lesbians, in a community that supports women on a real level, not just like it's not a sexual label, it's a way of living, and supporting your sisters is very important. So I just remember like her energy and just thinking she had just the right combination of things to get out there and do it. Yeah. So I'm glad to hear that. And, I do feel fairly inspirational, too, because, I'm a big Black woman on TV for a long, long time and I don't have a court date and, right. No pending lawsuits. And,
right.
For many, many years, I've raised my family in the city. So I feel like just to say, that there's hardworking people out there that do what they do and that they love and, can keep it good.
Do you do workshops and stuff for?
I did in the past.
Yeah.
I sure did do some, but it's been many years.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever make a comeback, let me know so I can sign up.
Becky Lynn, also another storyteller that we've had on, also mentioned you. She came off stage, and this comes up a lot, but I think it's a real natural thing that transition from stand-up to storytelling. And she came off stage kind of shaky, unsure. She'd also gotten emotional on stage. Mm-hmm. And she said, as she walked off stage, you were waiting for her. And you said to her, I'm going to paraphrase, but something along the lines of, you just told the shit out of that story. And she said it just made her day and made her feel better. And, like she could do this. So you're having a good impact on people.
Oh, well, I like hearing that. That's good. Yeah. I appreciate when someone just puts their self into what they're doing, whether I loved it or not, I enjoyed it when people throw themselves into it.
Sure, I get
Although
that.
I'm sure I enjoyed Becky's story if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I was also curious about, I thought the structure of your story was a little bit, well, I guess before I ask that, I would want to know, are you a write it down and memorize it person, or are you you've thought the story to yourself and then you perform it for us and it's a little, are you a JP or are you a George Carnes?
I do not sit and write it down. No. What I do is I go back to the absolute thing that happened and I get myself all the way back there.
Okay.
And I sit with that for a while and I remember like little things that happen, or, little laughs or little parts of it that made it important to me. And I just sit with it a long time. Sometimes I say it out loud. I'll just be, I can sit in my house or on my patio and just say it out loud just to hear how it flows. But for me, if it's my story, I don't really need to write it down.
Right.
Sometimes I might write down order, like something I don't want to forget. Because that's the thing, you get up and you get to talking, you forget things. So I might write down some points that I want to make sure I get in there. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much it for me. I enjoy immersing myself in the story again.
So if you are writing things down, then maybe this does pertain, because I do feel like the structure was kind of interesting, because you gave us Deborah and we spent a long time there learning about Deborah, almost forming a relationship with her a little bit.
Right.
And then you just totally stop that and you take us to Amy. And so I guess that's just what you were feeling when you were in the moment.
Well,
That
that's what
wasn't-
happened in that story. The important people in that story
Right.
are Deborah and Amy, and
Right.
Deborah wasn't there with me. So I wanted to give you a piece of who
Yeah.
Deborah was in my life. Right?
Sure. So there was some conscious planning of like, the
Oh.
audience needs to know
No,
Deborah.
yes.
If they're going to,
And when I've told that story on a shorter format, like
Yeah.
where it's only 10 minutes or so,
yeah.
then I don't tell as much about Deborah.
Is that,
Right.
so that's where you're most likely to cut? You keep
Yes,
most
that
of
would
it?
be was exactly.
That's what's going to go.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And so the impact of the story, do you feel like it's not as strong when you don't get to spend as much time with Deborah, the audience?
Oh, I feel they're just lucky if I do get to spend more time with
Aw.
Deborah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just that she was so splendid, and because it's just a loving tribute to her and
Yeah.
what she meant to me. Because me and Amy were still kicking it.
Yeah, because I feel
As a
like
matter of fact, Amy and I got to tell the story together
So you have done it.
later in Mill Valley. A
Oh.
few months later. Yes, actually, we did it in August. I
We
think.
still, I want
September.
to see that. Yeah.
September.
That sounds awesome.
I'll send it to you.
I want to see it. Yeah.
Yes, I'll send
Thank
it to
you.
you.
No, don't send it to her. Come do it.
Yeah, come do
on
it at our show,
stage.
please.
Yes, I would do it on stage if Amy was in town.
That's part of, I guess, kind of our signature is where we want to stand out. What we looked at, what we wanted to do differently. When you ask us how much time you have, we ask, well, how much time would you like?
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when we'll say no.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not to you, and probably not to JP Ferrari.
Thanks.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple people like, we know you can handle the time.
Yeah.
But I like that you were able to stretch and you were able to give this story as much time to breathe. And I was touched that you have several times commented on that.
Oh,
On how you liked the length.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just luxurious.
Mhm.
Yeah. I really
Luxurious.
liked it.
That was the word used.
Yeah.
That made me feel really good.
Oh,
I'm
good.
glad that people are appreciating that.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that because, as a stand-up, I mean, we know what 5 minutes is, and we know
Right.
what 3 minutes is, and we know what 8 minutes is, right? So when you start telling a story, you have to be able to wrap up all the things you're feeling in this true story, stand-up style, meaning
Right.
come down with the correct time.
Hmm.
So it's a joy to have a little more time to be able to just build it the way you want to build it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the song that you close with,
Mm-hmm.
was this song something that you connected to the story or to the day when it happened, or was it when you were piecing it together as a story?
Piecing it together as a story, what I decided because I like to end my stories with music. I generally do.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, almost every time. And that
you
was
doing
the
that
perfect
tonight?
song. I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that was the absolute perfect song.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
I ended my story with a song too. It's nice to know I'm not alone, that
Yeah,
I'm following
no.
in good footsteps.
Absolutely.
My inclination to do that.
DuckTales is a banger.
Yeah.
It does too.
I'm sure people think of it as just like a silly kids
It's
show
catchy.
theme song, but that's a damn good one. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of my favorite cartoon theme songs ever. DuckTales. Woo! So we've heard a little bit about kind of your progress through improv and stand up and then storytelling. Oh, but your connection to music. I think you had musicians in your family.
Absolutely. My family is an amazing honeypot of talent.
Yeah.
I have an aunt who, had she not been mentally challenged, had a voice damn near Aretha. I'm not
wow.
kidding you. She was a phenomenal singer. We went to Canada once, and she was getting a recording done, and we were in this house, and she was singing, and people kept ringing the doorbell. So we had to open the door so that no one would ring the doorbell anymore, and they could just listen.
Hear her.
Okay. So she was like that, and of course she sang in choir, but she was a little cray. So that was not for her life thing. And then I have an uncle. My uncle Richard Dorsey was one of the best pianists and organists that you ever want to hear. He is the one who took the Glide Memorial Choir and Glide Church in San Francisco, took it to the next level. That's how they became known, was my Uncle Richard. And so when I was a kid and living in Indianapolis, I heard Rock the Bach every day.
Yeah.
He would get up in the morning and play classical for hours, and and you hear the mistakes, and you go back and start over. And then in the middle of the day, he'd be doing R&B, and then on Saturdays and Sundays he would rehearse people or playing the gospel, group at church. So music was always an incredible part of my life. And everyone in my family pretty much has a really good voice.
Yeah.
So, we were every kind of music.
Were you ever tempted to take your career that way?
Oh, I thought I was going to be a singer, actually.
Yeah.
As a kid. I mean, I thought I'd be on TV, but I thought I'd be a singer. But then I got the bug. I started seeing stuff on television. I wanted to act. I wanted those emotions, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when that changed. But it was really just the accidental taking of improv that changed my whole trajectory. Because I thought I was going to be a serious actress, but improv was absolutely my niche. So, yeah.
Oh, something, I don't know why we skipped over this. Could you tell our listeners how you got the gig as the Pine Sol lady?
I can. So during that run of the National Theater of the Deranged, there was a man in the audience who came pretty much every week who loved my work, and he was the head writer for Pine Sol. And Clorox owns Pine Sol, by the way. And so they were looking for, not sure if they wanted a spokesperson, but they were slipping in the ratings. They'd gone from number 1 to like number 2 or 3. And they were like, we got to do something. So they started the search, and he said, will you please start with Diane Amos? Because he's seen all my characters. He knows how I work, right? And so they started with me, and I went in and did an audition. And it, in a very small room with a fabulously Jewish man who spoke really fast and gave me, all right, honey, here's what we're going to do. All right, hold this bottle. All right, stand over here, right? And I was good with Jewish people because every wife that my mom ever had was a Jewish woman. So,
she has a type.
Yeah, exactly. So I got that down, right? So, he was like, you're real good. All right, we'll call you. So the next time they call me, we go in with full product and do it that way. And he's like, you're really good. But Clorox is a pretty white company, and big black braids, big boobies, gap teeth. I mean, what more can you not be? Spokesperson type, right? So they went nationwide and auditioned everybody nationwide. All my friends auditioned. They went across the country, and I was during Star Search the last year that Ed McMahon did it, and I was on there winning, and I got off of a second place, or no. Going to semifinals. And I got off stage, I had just had this win, and I got the phone call after 3 months, which is a very long time. But I got the Pine Sol commercials.
I didn't know you were on Star Search.
Doing stand-up comedy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. So that's how I got it, is that, they started with me and were like, but, people remembered what I said, and that's how they test. They take a group in and they tell them they're going to show them some TV shows. And they show them 3 TV shows and commercials. And then they ask them afterwards about the commercials. Everybody remembered everything I said. Wow. Because when was the last time you saw a big black woman with gap teeth and brazen titties on TV?
Well, I grew up with her. I mean,
right?
So what year was that?
93.
Okay.
And I'm still their spokesperson.
Yeah.
And
30 years, right?
32 years.
Was...
October, 32 years.
That's awesome.
The reason I asked what year it was is during a period of my life where I was not watching television. And when I saw the reaction of people like Kyrie Shabazz to mentioning you, it was hilarious. Like, you're this maternal figure in their lives. They're just like, the Pine Sol lady. Like, when you describe that paramedic coming in, that's not...
That's how everyone reacts.
That's the kind of reactions we're getting when we say that you're going to be there. They're like, oh, you got the Pine Sol lady. And I guess Kyrie was on a show with you at the Throckmorton, and he said he didn't even want to go on stage. He wanted to sit in the green room and listen to you talk.
Oh,
he's just like, she was telling stories in the green room, and man, it was better than anything we were going to do on stage. And it was so great. So it's funny. You kind of became a part of a certain generation's lives.
It's very true. I mean, the kids that are going with me, millennials, they love me because they did have to clean with the product I was using, but they still love the fact that I was on there, and big women love me because I'm out there representing for the big girls, and older black women like, baby, I'm so proud of you. It's like, I'm right on, And I mean, in all cultures too, like, I love that makes people, bend your soul, it's like, yeah, baby, I'm out there. And so I think it was really just the perfect timing when commercials started going towards real people.
Yeah.
And that's when I was able to just show them, hey, I'm out there, I'm mopping my floors, and Pine Sol is the shit, right? Black people, my grandma knew I was a Pine Sol lady. Oh, she'd be so damn proud.
One note, we can't say the word shit. Can we take that one again?
Yes.
That would have been the best slogan for them.
Darn.
Pine Sol's the shit.
How often would you say you get recognized?
So now,
Yeah.
okay, so I've been off TV specifically for almost 15 years now. And I still get recognized, I would say, like, out of 10 times, I would say 3 to 5,
Wow.
depending where I am. Right?
That's
It all depends
great.
on where I am. But yeah, I totally.
But back in the day?
Oh, every day. I couldn't even go to the store. I mean, I'd be going in for 3 things and end up there for an hour because people want to take pictures and,
They're all handing
talk to
Pine
me.
Sol to you.
Yeah, and tell me jokes and, all kind of stuff. So, no, yes, I had to find a way to learn how to kind of deal with that. And it's a great level of fame. I mean, nobody's following me and cares what I wear to the grocery store or how I look in a bikini because I don't wear bikinis. So no one's tripping on that kind of me. So that my level of fame is very comfortable and very warm.
Great.
It's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
love that you got that kind of energy sent your way. Just really
Yeah,
positive
it's
energy
really
from
good
all
stuff.
these different cultures.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever come at you like Fabuloso's better?
No, but there was a couple of things where no, there was a couple of things though where I think someone said that I was like an Aunt Mama figure or something like that,
What?
which is like exactly what because I'm not. So I just took it as, I mean, why can't you realize that I am the only Black woman, longest running spokesperson in our country? So let me have it.
Right.
You
It's
know?
only good news there.
Yeah, it's nothing bad about that.
Yeah.
And so as the spokesperson still, but
Mhm.
not on TV in the commercials, what does that mean?
It means we're on TikTok and Instagram.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
the kids come to me. Oh, you're TikTok famous. I'm like, all right, oh, I seen you on Instagram. I'm like, right on,
Cool.
yeah.